Hey folks, Matt from artoftheimage.com. The Nikon D5600 was recently announced. It's kind of just a very light refresh of the D5500. In fact, I really didn't see any reason to buy it over a 55, especially if you can get a 55 on with rebates or as a refurb or on sale because the 56 is out. I would go the route of the 55. However, I was discussing with you folks about 4K and how soon we'd see 4K in Nikon's APS-C lineup, in their DX lineup of crop sensor cameras, such as the 56, the 55, the 34 and the 33, the 72, and when the 73 is coming. And I suggested that perhaps the 5600 replacement would be the first one to have that. And we have a viewer comment here. Let's see, who is writing in on this one? Dunny Monster, one of our regulars here, always has some good feedback. I am sure the next release iteration of the D5XXX series, so in other words, the 5700, I guess it will be, will have 4K video. I'd estimate its release to be 12 to 18 months away. So absolutely, we'll have a sub $800 4K DSLR from Nikon within 2 years. I think even Canon's mid-range DSLRs will feature 4K also by this point. It will be so cheap to integrate 4K that it will be as commonplace as 1080 is now. My feeling regards demand for 4K video right now, however, is do you have a computer with not only software, but fairly hefty hardware to handle it in post-processing? Buying into 4K isn't just about having a capable camera. You have to consider what you intend to do with the footage later. And that last bit, absolutely, I couldn't agree more. I run an i7-3730K 6-core processor, so I think they call it a hexacore. It's granted a few years old now, but it still ranks very well against the latest and greatest. It's a 6-core. It was top of the line when I bought it, and I've got 32 gig of RAM. I run, what do I have now? I think I've got 5 SSD drives in there, so I've got, and then export drives of hard disk. I think now I'm even, yes, my new setup, I have enough SSDs that I've got 2 export drives for SSDs. So the point being, the system is tweaked. Oh, and I also have the brand new RX 480 the 8 gig video card. So all of this tweaks to make a very fast hardware system for processing 4K. And that is true because I've tried 4K on lots of other things. The nice laptop I had there from Acer, with the 4K screen, it could process 4K, but it was much slower, noticeably more sluggish than my high-end desktop processing machine. This is also true if you're on Mac, even more so, because Mac seems to have left professionals behind. All of their new supposedly pro stuff, very not good as far as pro. Lots of people are complaining about that. I think the online photographer was just saying how he had a really hard time finding a new Mac. Was it Trey Radcliffe? Don't quote me on that, but I think it might have been Trey, Stuck in Customs, was saying he just switched back to PC for this very reason. And that's why I've always stayed PC. I like the easy customizability for about half the price. But, so that, I agree with Dunny there, absolutely. And I think he's probably right, because we won't see a 5700 update for probably 18 months now, because we just got the 56. So the hope here is that that's not the camera that gets 4K first. The hope is that the 73, which we're hoping to see anytime, 7300, 7500, whatever they're going to call the 7200 update, would have 4K. And that makes sense, because the D500 has 4K, and so the next top camera in the DX lineup below the 500 would be that one. And hopefully it'll have a fully articulated screen borrowed from the 5500, 5600, and 4K. We should see that this year. So fingers crossed. That's what I'm hoping. Nikon and Canon both really have to pick up the ball. They're bleeding bad to Sony, Panasonic, and Fuji. Why? Sony, Panasonic, and Fuji are doing so much more innovation, delivering so much more bang for your buck than Nikon and Canon are. So hopefully Nikon, their first salvo to stem the bleeding here, to bandage the problem, or to solve the problem. Hopefully the 7300 or 7500 will be a stellar camera. What do you guys think? Do you think that, along with what Dunny said there, because we will get that in the 5700 or the next iteration of the 5600, that and that's likely to be 18 months away, that hopefully we'll get it in the 7200 replacement? Or do you think we are still, that we won't get it and it'll be even 18 months away regardless? Let me know what you think. Let's discuss it. I think, and I'm firm on this, and I've told Nikon this, Nikon needs to, as does Canon, stop messing around with their customer base. Put 4K in every camera you put out now. Go hard at Panasonic, Fuji, and Sony. Be competitive. Because right now, Nikon and Canon, you guys aren't. Let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments below. Let's discuss it, flush it out some more. Remember, we got 8K coming for the 2020 Olympics in Japan. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Thanks for your comments, Dunny. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon here at artoftheimage.com.